Abhijit, a second year PhD scholar of Professor D.N. Singh. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you to making it to IIT Bombay. Arif, Jasmine and Dr. Sharma has given you a brief introduction about the subject, what we have to expect and what we will be expecting out of you guys. So let me start from where Arif left. He was talking about multi-phase system and he was talking about various application of soils. So in your undergrads, you have learned designing of foundation and the response of soil to various mechanical loads. But in our real life, that is not the case. The soil is subjected to various certain other types of loads. I would like to get an input from you guys. What all other type of loads or maybe responses which we'll be expecting of soils? Can anybody start? For an example, for what all type of structures we have to make the foundation, and do we go for a same type of foundation for all the structures for different applications? No, it is not. So what are the different type of foundations which will be going for, or different type of structures? One good example is earthquake loads, but here also we talk about dynamic load as well as static load. So it comes under the mechanical response. There also the mechanical load is applied to the soil. Any other certain aspects we have to consider?
Something like if our place, if we construct anything,
Yes.
Around this particular place, if we have some mechanical work or something like that, environmental under the earth, so we can use sheet pile in that case to make our soil undisturbed or to make our soil isolated maybe. So in that case, we also use such techniques, sheet pile and all, or something laterally reinforced.
Okay. So here also you have talked about the response of soil to the dynamic loads and mechanical loads. But we from this level we have to go to a class apart and we have to talk about some other forces which are causing soil response. For example, is temperature. What will happen when we apply heat to the soil? There are applications. Can you cite one for that, where soil is applied for temperature, higher temperature or lower temperature? What happens with nuclear repositories? There, whatever waste comes from nuclear products, we bury it in the soil at very low depth. Because of reactions, they produce a lot of heat and the soil has to respond for it. And in these projects, the response of soil is very important. There should not be any leakage of the nuclear repository, nuclear products, isn't it? So it goes to that level. And another application is what Arif has said, the chemical. When we in the case of landfills and all, when the soil comes in contact with chemicals, how it is going to respond? Is it degrading? How is it going to behave? So all these aspects has to be studied in this course. Okay. Now coming to the multi-phase system. Usually for soils, we talk about 3 phase: water, solid as well as air. But there are cases in the field, a foreign body, as somebody was saying, a foreign body will be there, or by virtue there are extra phases in the soil. One such example is formation of ice. See what happens in a country like India. In Jammu Kashmir, we expect snow. At the same time, in Kerala, we talk about the marine clays. So such vast is the geotechnical engineering in a country. So we have to talk about all these things. Are we taught all these things in our undergrads? No. So in this particular subject, we'll be looking for all these things. Now coming to my work, I work on the geomechanical modeling of gas-headed bearing sediments. I am funded by Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India. Anybody of you heard about gas hydrates? So what suggestion I have to give to you is that we have to be very contemporary, and we have to read what is happening around the world, and we have to correlate it with our subject. It is very much necessary if we want to stay in the subject, and if we want to show our caliber in the subject. We have to connect the subject with what is going in the world around, where people are struggling, where industries need the help of technicians and as well as engineers, so that we all have to improve. So I'm again coming to gas hydrates. Gas hydrates are methane gas entrapped in the form of ice crystals beneath the ocean bed or permafrost regions. The condition existing at ocean bed is that because of the water column, high pressure will be there. Similarly, low temperature exists. In such a case, methane gas forms gas hydrate crystals, which is ice. So now we have to think what happens when an extra phase is forming inside the soil. We talk about the voids, which is occupied by water as well as air. Now the voids are occupied by an extra solid material called hydrates. What is going to happen in the when we talk about the bulk properties? You take a beaker of soil and you freeze it. What is going to happen? Can anybody say? Hmm? Volume expand. Okay, one is that. And in terms of mechanical properties, what is going to happen? How hard is ice and how hard is soil? It's entirely different. It behaves totally in both behaves totally in different ways. So this is an application of it. How do the soils are going to behave when ice is forming, when hydrates are present in the soil? So we are into that, and in the current project what we are doing is that we want to help ONGC to extract methane gas from such methane gas hydrate repositories. How do we do that, and what are the mechanical as well as chemical aspects which we have to consider in that? For example, as I said, when hydrates are forming, how the mechanical properties are going to change. We talk about the Young's modulus for materials, isn't it? And for soils, we talk about the shear strength. The same thing we have is applicable for gas hydrate bearing sediments also. How it changes, and during methane extraction, how it is going to affect these properties, and which in turn may cause stability issues to the seabed. So all these things we have to consider. And another aspect is multi-phase fluid flow, as Arif was saying. In the soil, in the seabed, we have gas hydrates, seawater, water. Then methane gas is also existing. So the pores are not completely saturated. It has two fluids. It's a multi-phase system, multi-phase fluid system. So when we try to extract this methane from such repositories, there have to be a movement of methane gas as well as water through a very complex system, which is gas hydrate bearing sediments. How can we solve these issues? All these answers are required by industries like ONGC, and other foreign industries of certain countries are also have invested a lot of money into this. So this is where the geotechnical engineering is moving. So we have to be aware of all these things, and we hope that this course will help you to understand or take a step ahead in this area at least. Thank you very much.
My name is Bini, and I'm a second year PhD scholar working with Professor Singh. And I would like to continue where Lijit left. So basically, he was talking about the responsibilities of environmental technicians in the present era. So as this course, Environmental Geomechanics, it will provide you an opportunity and platform to explore various aspects which are involved in uh, various aspects which are currently going on in our surrounding. So it's my request, and it will be helpful for you also. Like if something is happening around you, you should be aware of it. So if you have time, go through the news. What are the issues related to geotechnique is happening around you? Like in Mumbai, there will be some or the other thing happening one or the other day. So there will be a lot of incidents, and if you can correlate those incidents with the study which you are doing in your classroom, and you can generate more discussions on that, like why it is happening, how can you resolve those issues. So that will be very helpful for you to like it will be very helpful for you to have a greater what do you call command on the subject, and it will be very holistic approach in knowing something. So it's always better to interact with sir, because this is the one of the best platform in India which you are going to get in this subject. Coming to my area of interest, I'm also working in the area of gas hydrates, and the project has been funded by ONGC India. Mostly Lijit has briefed you about that, like what are our agendas, but how many of you have ever heard of gas hydrates? Like, try to attempt at least. If you have not, say no, we have not heard, or at least not. No. So go see the pictures, how it looks like, because in theory we'll be like, okay, it's an ice-like structure, and it's just ice-like, and we'll have that imagination. But if you see in pictures, it will be totally different. There are a lot of YouTube videos available where they have done experiments on gas hydrates. So if you are interested in this field, or if you are interested in non-conventional or unconventional sources of energy, because this is one of the area which is in boom right now. Everybody is talking about unconventional energy source. So have you ever thought about like why there is a need? Why do we need to think about it? Why everyone is like running behind unconventional energy source, or big terms like gas hydrates, shell energy? So have you ever thought about it? Why India is investing? India, being a developing country, is investing in gas hydrates. Have you ever thought about it? Why we are doing that? So go have a look in, like there is a lot of information source. You can just a click away. You just have to Google it. So go and Google it, why we are in a need and why India is investing, because China, Japan, US, Canada, all these countries are also actively participating in gas hydrate research. So why India is more interested in that, and uh, what benefit it will be, it will give us, the Indians. And so unconventional energy source. Uh, do you have any idea what unconventional energy source is? Because there are so many terms in energy. Unconventional, renewable, non-renewable, alternate, conventional. So be familiarized with these terms, because sir will be talking about energy geotechniques, because all these things are happening in nature, and geotechnicians are basically dealing with nature at different levels. So how we can contribute, so those things will be getting very much clear to you. And in energy geotechniques, we have geothermal energy and gas hydrates, petroleum, oil corporation, everything is there. So to get a brief idea, I'll not tell you anything. You can Google, and if you're curious enough, find out what is happening. Fine. And my area of interest is basically synthesis of gas hydrates in laboratory, because as Lijit said, these are found beneath the ocean bed, like 100 meters of depth in the seabed, and above that you'll have at least 100 meters of water. So that much depth, and how much pressure, can you guess how much pressure in terms of kilopascals, megapascals. Just guess, it's a random guess. So 1 MPa, that's 1 MPa. You are very close. It's in the range of megapascals. So we'll have 10 megapascals. What are the temperature conditions there? So my aim is to simulate those conditions in laboratory. So to simulate those conditions, it's a very difficult task because 10 MPa. Do you know how much, like what effect a 1 kPa has or 10 kPa has? Try to have a physical experience of 10 kPa by just doing something in the laboratory. You have triaxial setup, you can apply 10 kPa anyways. So that 10 kPa is that much. 10 MPa, like so many times, 10,000 times more than that. So that much amount of pressure you have to simulate in the laboratory under safe conditions, and then you have to purge methane through the sediments so that you are able to simulate those conditions which are existing in the field. Any idea? Okay, in seabed you have water, soil, wildlife, or some microbial activity. Any idea from where this methane is coming?
Anaerobic decomposition.
Good. Yeah, so anaerobic decomposition of organic matter will produce methane. So some microbial activity will be happening inside the seabed. You'll produce methane, and that methane is getting trapped under some thermodynamic conditions. Microbial activity is one. Another is like thermochemical activity, which is happening in the upper mantle. So different aspects are there, and if you read more about it, if you are interested, you'll get to know more. So my main aim is to synthesize those methane hydrates in the laboratory, because you cannot get samples any time or every time. You cannot get samples from the seabed. It's very difficult, and generally whatever techniques we have, if we take the sample out, methane hydrates will be dissociated because there is some pressure temperature combination which governs their formation. So you cannot always take them out. So to test, because Lijit will be working on geomechanical properties of methane hydrates, you have to prepare those samples in the laboratory. You cannot get it from the field. It's very difficult. Transportation, storing, and everything. And it's very costly also. So if you are going for the exploration purpose, you have to know where you need to dig so that you will be able to get methane energy or methane out of it. So for exploration, you should have a basic idea where you can find. So I'm working in that area also, like quantification and like detection of methane hydrates. How you can detect how you can detect there is something different in the soil in a particular place. So generally you must have known the seismic analysis. So basically all those things are used. Apart from that, other technologies are also used, and that is it. And I'm working in that area.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. Myself Ganraj. Yeah, I am fourth year research scholar working with Professor Singh. Yeah. Regarding this course, I think better to introduce what is the geomaterial first. You might be having the concept that geomaterial is a material which is just consists of soil and the rock, but actually it is not. Whatever the material which is getting derived from the earth, basically it can be any type of waste material, which it can include those materials also, any type of waste material. Maybe it's a industrial waste, or it's a waste material generated from municipal activities. So all comes under the realm of geomaterials. So anything related to study means whatever mechanical properties related to these materials we will be studying in this course, and it will be like how the material behaves when it is subjected to various kinds of external fields. It can be physical, it can be chemical energy fields, whatever may be, or electrical, magnetic, and can be means microorganisms. how the geomaterial interact with these sort of energy fields. So it will be the I think most of you might have right now got the sense of what will be taught in the course. And related to my topic, I am currently working in the area of utilization of industrial waste materials. Basically we call industrial byproducts, not as the waste materials. So have you ever been to any of the industries? Anyone? Thermal power plants or any sort of refineries? Yeah, basically these refineries are producing ample amount of waste materials like thermal power plants or can be any refineries. So my research area is how to deal with these sort of waste materials, how to convert them as a man-made resource rather than simply dumping these waste materials in the backyards of the industries. So I am currently focusing on how to use these materials in various infrastructure applications. I think you might be, yeah, in places where like where there is no good land available, like whatever earlier my colleagues told, like marine clays are available at some certain places where you can't construct any sort of buildings over there, or where there are soils which are highly vulnerable to organic decomposition or maybe like settlement and all. So how to stabilize such sort of soils where conventional techniques of stabilization are not going to work out. So such sort of things, how we can use alternative resources available like man-made resources to construct any type of infrastructure on top of such sort of soils. That is where I am working on.